Hey up troops, A Littleton here again with another video, and you join me here on Lair in Deimos' office. I'm sat in Deimos' chair, don't tell him, he seems like a pretty rough fella. We're going to be looking at 2 of the 4 sites in this video. We're going to be looking at Master, Office and R6 Room. We're going to be looking at Bunks and Briefing. There's 4 sites on this map like there is on every map. I think there's 4 sites on every map. I can't think of a map where there isn't 4 sites. But there's 1 on the 2nd floor, 2 on the 1st floor, and 1 in the basement. This video, we're going to look at 2nd floor and 1 site on the 1st floor. Next video, we're going to look at the other site on the 1st floor and the 1 in the basement. I don't want to do like an hours long video. It'll go on forever. We'll split it down into 2 and 2. 1 today, and we'll do 1 either tomorrow or the next day. So I played my first game of ranked on this map last night, and everyone's going to play the top floor first. We're going to show how to set it up, but I don't think it's going to be the strongest site on the map, even though everyone's going to play, because that's what everyone does, just goes top floor first, like by default on almost every map. I don't think it's going to be the strongest. I feel like Bunks and Briefing, which is the 2nd site we'll look at in this video, is actually a stronger site. There's just, when you're on the top floor, you don't have to worry about vertical play, do you? Whereas when you're on Bunks and Briefing, you have got to worry about vertical play a little bit. But in this video, we'll show you where to reinforce, where to put some rotates, where to put some head holes. I'm not going into different setups with different operators. We're not looking at, oh, put a mute jammer here, put a Malusi Banshee there, put a mirror there. I do talk about a few things like that, but this is mainly about how to set up the site in its most basic sense. Where to reinforce, where to make rotates, where to make holes, basically. And some sort of slight information on the side as well about different ways into the map and areas that you need to watch out for. We've done this all in one take. Absolutely unreal. We've had enough waffling. I certainly have. You have. Let's just get stuck into it. Okay, let's get started with site number 1, R6 Room and Master Office. Now, I've only played Lair once in ranked last night, and it was a pretty interesting game. We ended up losing it, but we absolutely smashed it on attack and then capitulated on defense. So first things first, I'm going to tell you what not to do. This wall here goes out onto the balcony, okay? Now, what you don't want to do is reinforce these 2 walls. You can reinforce one of those walls, but do not reinforce both of those walls. Last night, in 2 rounds, we just opened this breach, I ran here, and just planted. I mean, this is such a secure plant spot. The person outside the breach has only got to watch this door or this angle. There's only 2 places you got to watch, and you're just tucked in safely here on 2 reinforced walls. So don't reinforce both of these walls from Master. Oh, this is actually a separate room. This is called Mask Room. We're still going to call it Master, though. So don't reinforce those double walls from Mask out onto Mezzanine. Instead, what you want to be doing is reinforcing one of these 2 walls and making a line of sight on the other. I recommend this side, and I'll go through why in just a second. And then we make head holes along here. And now we can hold the breach from here if we need to. You can also cage trick, two-barrel trick, whatever you want to do from here. But you can hold the breach from here, importantly. Now, the reason I don't like doing this wall is because once this wall's open... once this wall's reinforced and you've got the head holes here, you're trapped here. Like, you can't cross the safety without going past the head holes that would be here. Whereas here, you can now run this way. Or you can now fight this side. If you open this wall, you're sort of trapped in this corner. Now, what we found in the game last night is this room is a real nightmare. Operational is just a wide open space with a door and a window, and it reminds me a little bit of the CCTV room on Border, where if you can hold this and take control of this and keep control of this as a defender, this room will... I think this will be the focal point of attacks for almost every attacking team in here. So this is where we need to come up with a plan for these 2 walls. Now, I initially thought reinforcing this side was the play, and we stay hidden from the breach by being behind this wall, and we stay hidden from operational by being behind this side of the wall. However, that isn't the case, because unfortunately, if an enemy this is a rappel window, by the way. If an enemy rappels on here, they can, if this side of the wall's open, I'll just, in fact, you know what I'm going to do is open all of the wall. Now, bear in mind, this map is really new, so everything I'm going through here is sort of what I think is a good idea so far. I mean, like when we played Oregon 5 years ago, the way we set that up now is completely different to the way we set Oregon up now. You know, we used to reinforce both walls that go from Trophy into Attic in Oregon. Now we open one of the walls because it's a better way of doing it. So this will evolve, but if someone's rappelling on here and you leave this side of the wall open and reinforce this side of the wall, so you stood here. So remember, this side's reinforced. I'm going to cough, hang on. Excuse me. You stood here, this wall's reinforced, this wall's open. The reinforcement's going to be halfway down, you're stood here, you're going to be seen from this window. You're going to have to be like all the way back to here but now you can be seen from this window. So this really is one of the highest anchor spots, or sorry, what will be the strongest. Highest? That makes no sense. The strongest anchor spots on this whole site. But it's a nightmare because of this room. Now, if you were to reinforce this side of the wall, which I think is, all in all, probably a better option, you're now going to get peeked from the door, because this is a door, so if an attacker wanted to, you can peek this so easy onto those head holes. Just swing that door, there you go, that's where I would have been standing. So it's really easy to get swung from there, but I still think that that's the right thing to do. I mean, in a dream scenario, if mirror's not banned, a mirror on this wall, either this side or this side, whatever you want to do to cover operational is probably the way forward, but I just think that holding this room is a nightmare. Maybe playing someone like a zombie off this window at the bottom, so you've only got to worry about the door. Make somebody rappel up here, waste some time. As soon as they've got rid of one zombie barrier, put another down, carry on fighting on the door. But if you can somehow keep control of this corner, this is huge, because obviously everyone's going to want to get this breach open. I'm just going over to the other side of the map. This single wall here definitely wants opening. So now you can hold that from behind this door. You can hold anyone that runs in the breach. Bear in mind, this breach is going to be one of those sort of try and sort of turn and plants, like you know what you do down in bank, trying the old turn and plant. So trying to hold that there will help you, will come in helpful. When it comes to rotates, you definitely want to rotate from R6 room. Let me just go around to show you what it's like with no rotate. From R6 room round into server, which is here. You can see the two soft walls here, and we've got a soft wall out here. I want to rotate out here, so you can hold this window. I don't think there's anything wrong with a rotate here, because this room's pretty dead apart from this one window. It's hard floor as well. And then we want a rotate into R6 room from here. Oh, hello. And then a rotate either on the, I think personally, the right-hand side of the wall. So you can hold from here the corridor angle. You could put it on the left-hand side of the wall if you don't want to hold the angle. What it means from here now, that you can hold the angle that goes out to that corridor. Let me show you what I mean. Oh, come on, Andy, make a rotate. The angle that comes out to here, you can now hold a further angle back from here if you want to, whereas if the rotate's there, obviously you can't hold that angle. Now, this, I think you could also make a justification for a rotate here as well. And the reason for this is this door. If someone's on this angle here, holding this door, there's no other way for you, no other way out other than back into the site, obviously. Unless you come out this way, and you can then challenge onto that angle there. I mean, this is always sort of going to figure out how we go along. Now, one thing I did notice, and I have to truly admit, this came from Hard Baguette's video. Shout out Hard Baguette, who did an insane video on this map. With some really nice head hole angles. Along here, and then along here. So this, you can see now, we can see the breach, and you can see where people might be planting on the other side of this wall, where I mentioned before. And then also we can see, we can see that door from here. To hold into there, or to hold onto the breach. This is an insanely good angle. If somebody runs in from that breach and tucks in behind this wall, obviously if you're playing smoke, you've got a C4, you can launch a C4 over in that direction. I think that's actually a really good throw. Oh, not quite far enough, but you can throw things over there to chanker, smoke, whatever. I think probably putting a Goyo somewhere around here, or even a Goyo on this wall, so you can detonate it as soon as this gets open, is a shout. But this, essentially, this side of the map, I don't think, this side of the site, sorry, I don't think will get pushed that often, because this is much easier to hold. Long corridors, more angles, more things to clear. Whereas I think most attackers will just take control of operational and then try and force their way through this door. So it's probably more likely as a defender that you want to try and hold this room for as long as you can. Maybe even hold a super long angle from here out onto that room. And then likely, I think, fall away back to here. Try and hold this door. Back to here. Back to here. Up here and hold that door. I think it's, for a defender, holding this, which if you can hold on to this, obviously, around this elbow area here would be insane. But just, this room is just so open and difficult to hold. I think maybe making one of these, this, or this higher may have been the play, so it's not so open. Like maybe making this higher, so yeah, I have to worry about the window, but I can also take some cover from the door. I can't do that. Maybe play with a shield. Maybe that's the play. Maybe you put a shield on the double door here. Maybe we do that, actually. I'm just thinking about this as we sort of go along, if I'm brutally honest. Like maybe we put a shield on the door there. We stand far enough back that we can't get a hit from that window. The only thing is this is soft floor. Then we play the shield onto the door. We're far enough away from... But if that side of the breach gets open, we're kind of screwed. But this area here is the key point you want to hold if you can. And then if not, fall away through the site back to here. Bear in mind, obviously you can plant behind here if you want to. I see even with that wall open for an attacker to just be able to plant here tucked into this wall is really, really helpful. Which is where someone like a Smoke or a Tachanka needs to be using these head holes to get some denial into that area there. So that's the top floor. Bear in mind, we've played it once in ranked. I know we played the test server quite a bit, but we played it once in ranked, and that's what I found so far. This room's the one to hold. Once you can't hold that elbow. Don't really worry about bathroom. There's not a lot to be doing in here. This corridor is pretty important as well, though. So from here, you can hold the main stairs, which goes through there. And you can also hold that long corridor from here out to the stairs. Sorry, out to the door over that way. Now, another thing to mention, which is not part of the site, it's further away from site, is this corridor on the north side. This corridor here is the corridor that looks onto the breach. So that's the main breach into the master office where the masks are. So these windows here are 100% going to be held by roof campers on the top here. So you can hold these windows from up here. And that's 100% what's going to happen. However, what attackers are going to want to do is take control of this corridor through this door. And once they know they've got control of these windows, here and here, they can then take this courtyard. Because they're the only windows that can peek onto the courtyard. Now, if you can somehow defend this corridor by either putting a shield along here and holding this corridor, it just means that there's always uncertainty for the attackers that are out on this balcony. If the attackers take this corridor and they've got control of these two windows, the attackers can just drop here, no problem. So play a shield here, play some, play a Zarmi there, or play goo mines, Malusi Banshees, even Tubarao Zotto canisters, but any kind of sort of Fenrir, any kind of trap operator to slow them down taking this north corridor. But it will probably happen, you know, they will overwhelm you. With 2 or 3 operators, they will overwhelm. Bear in mind, they can come up from behind as well this way. It probably will happen, but you need to sort of hold on to this for as long as you can. Slow them down, get control of this courtyard area. Back to the site. That's it for me. Rotate from storage into the corridor here. I don't know what this is called, R6 hallway. And then from here into R6 room. And we've also got to rotate from display into server. And then the head holes from server out onto the breach, onto where I think the plant spot will be. And as we've said a million times, I don't want to repeat myself, but I sort of am repeating myself. This room is a nightmare to hold. Maybe the answer is putting the reinforcement this side and then peeking this side. But then that just leaves the head holes that would be here open to this window to come all the way through this way. They could probably even hold... Can you hold the door from there? The door is there. So, yeah, you can't quite hold the door from there, but this room's a nightmare. How do we defend it better? I genuinely don't know what to tell you, other than using, obviously, a zombie to block lines of sight. As many trap operators as you can, but last night when we played ranked, we just had a blitz that ran through this door twice. We didn't really know what to do about it. But anyway, that's the top floor. I think that's a pretty solid setup for now. More ranked games will let us know how we go. But don't forget, hold on to this breach as well. Okay, so we come downstairs now into bunks and briefing, and I've actually opened 2 walls that we're going to reinforce. This one and one over that side. I just want to show you where this is. So this is, in fact, let's make a little rotate quickly so we can go outside and I can show you where we are. So this is outside on what they call security terrace. This is not in the map. This is, well, it's obviously it's on the map, but we're classed as outside here. So as a defender, you won't be knocking about this place. We'll come to this door in a second. So security terrace, you definitely want to be reinforcing. Just wanted to show you where that was. That's an external wall on the south side there. Let's just get that reinforced. Boom. So that is security terrace reinforced. We're then faced with a wall between the sides. Now, the wall between the sides needs a rotate. However, you want to make sure you're doing the rotate on the right side of the wall if you're looking at it from in briefing, or the left side of the wall if you're looking at it from the breach here. The reason you want that is it means you can use this rotate if you have to hold onto a tight angle on the breach, even come and swing the breach, but then you can retreat back to safety by being on a tight angle from this wall. If you put the rotate here, you can only go through the rotate when you're in full exposure to the wall that's likely to get breached the most often. Then we come over this side to Briefing in here, and you can see this wall also, in my opinion, needs reinforcing. Let me just reinforce this, and I'll show you what's on the other side of it. There's a lot going on the other side of this wall, and I think this will also be an area where a lot of attention from attackers comes from. So let me just nip back through this side. Let's get back on the old SMG-11. That wall is at the bottom of these stairs here that links here. So as you can see down here, you've got a door, another soft wall, a window, and a set of stairs, and then the door into sight. I don't think you can play with this wall open. This has to be reinforced, and this has to be treated as a breach. I think attackers, again, will use this as a way of opening up, because this area here, which is the other side of that wall, is going to be an area you want to hold on to, and like, this is going to be one of the stronger anchor points. So I think opening this wall means no one can stand here, which will be important. Moving over to this part of the site on the south side again, we've got a room that goes from briefing through to security, and this is that external door that we just saw. So you can see that the breach from security terrace is now here. So that just goes around in a sort of U shape, really. You go round there, round here, through this rotate, and there's that breach. I think you don't reinforce this wall. I think we reinforce this wall, and we try and play in here for as long as we can, using this as cover onto the door, using this as cover onto this wall, and obviously using this onto this door here. I think what we do is we reinforce the... I know I said we don't reinforce it. I mean, we... sorry, I'm doing that wrong. No, I'm doing that right. I'm doing that right. Ignore me. We don't reinforce this wall, but we reinforce... I don't mean like both. We reinforce the right side, and we make a rotate onto the left side. And now we can hold the door from here, the breach from here. We can use this as a cover onto the door. And if we need to, we can come through here. If there's somebody on this wall holding an angle from here all the way... Oh, that's not a good shotgun hole, is it? An angle from there onto this door. You can now use that rotate to come out and appear behind this wall instead of just only being able to come through this door. If someone makes an angle there and just holds that door, you're kind of stuck forever. So what I think you need to do is reinforce this rather than this, and you extend out. So reinforce this. It's, again, my humble opinion. And we treat this as a bit of a breach. So it forces people through this door rather than being able to let people just ash charge this or breaching charge this. Yes, there's a door here as well. So from now, we know this is reinforced. We've only got to hold this door or this door. And if you need to push the other door, you can come from here and hold a tighter angle there. This is a real issue. If they get that wall open, this whole room is kind of... You can't stand in here. Obviously, then you can turn around and use this reinforced wall as cover to look at the breach. Coming back through the rotate. You've got... This is a bit like a half wall on border and many other anchor spots. You've just got cover all the way across here that you can hide behind and fight onto that breach. Just bear in mind... I'm just going to run all the way around the outside again. There is a vault outside that you can stand on. So hiding behind that half wall won't be completely safe, because if an enemy stands up on here, they're going to be able to see the top of your head over that half wall. However, the half wall is still really, really solid cover. Team that up with an Azami. Team this half wall up with an Azami barrier in the middle here, and you can play this whole breach by yourself, peeking left and right of the Azami barrier. I think that's going to be a really fun place to play. Obviously, you don't have to worry about anything behind you here. Only this door that leads out to that same area we just looked at, which is a busy area. Window, stairs, reinforced wall with door, soft wall. Just a busy area overall. Now, there's no other soft wall here to get into the side of the site, and you would need to go all the way around to go to where we just were, which is back here again, where the door exits out on security terrace, and we were talking about holding this area. I think this is the way to set up that site. So reinforce both of the north walls that face the bottom of those stairs. We reinforce the breach onto security terrace. We have a rotate on the left-hand side from the breach into briefing on the right-hand side if you're in briefing. We reinforce this side of the wall. You make a rotate here. Hold that wall, reinforce these two. That's what I think. Now, I know I've not mentioned any operators here. If you could put a mirror on here, that'd be amazing. Obviously, we're going to need to put some kind of breach denial on there and on there. Although I think this will be the main focal of attack. Although if an attacker gets in here and opens this wall, it's going to be a nightmare for the defenders to do anything about it. I think what you'll probably end up with is an attacker just like holding the side door from here, like a nice higher angle to stop anyone swinging out the door. Stop anyone like trying to get people off that breach. You just have someone holding this door from there. I think that's probably the place to play. Where can you see the... Let me just have a quick look at where you can see from there, how far into the site you can see. So you could potentially, let me just ping that area there. That's behind the half wall there. You could potentially flush out anyone who's playing half wall from those stairs, which is going to be a strong angle. I think this is a better site than upstairs, personally. But what we haven't talked about yet is verticality. Obviously, you've got soft floors and ceiling above. Hatches above. And you definitely need to reinforce this hatch unless you're planning on playing above. Now, this room above, let's just nip upstairs and I'll show you. That hatch over yonder is the same hatch that we spent a while talking about the room. Wrong room, sorry, apologies. Is the same hatch that we spoke talking about on our 6 room on the site above. I think you need to reinforce that unless, and this is a big possibility, do a sweet castle setup upstairs in our 6 room, holding out into master office as well. So I think you're going to have to do some kind of vertical hold because there's so much soft wall here, man, all the way across both sides. I don't know why am I trying to look at A-bomb over there. All the way across both sides. I think, I don't know. I think you would hold upstairs still. I think that on almost every site. Every site that has soft wall and hatches, I think you should hold above with 1 or 2. And either leave the hatches soft so you can fall down later, or reinforce them and hold a castle hold up here and just hold your life. Obviously, there's no soft floor in Memorial. Again, it's who really knows at the moment, but that's the way I think you should set up the site. What you do upstairs, up to you. Make it easier and just say reinforce the hatch for now. But if you reinforce that hatch and let opponents have vertical control for free there, opening that hatch is, you know, it's not going to be an easy thing to do. However, not an easy thing to defend. Bear in mind, when they do open that hatch, they're not going to be able to get an angle all the way to look into sight, if you know what I mean. The hatch, because where these walls are here, the hatch is only going to be able to look down onto this area. So it's not as strong a hatch as you know, that are on other maps. I don't know why I couldn't say what's on other maps there. But upstairs is a whole different kettle of fish. In my opinion, this is what we do downstairs on the side. So there we have it. That's how I set up at the moment. Master office and bunks. Master office or 6 room, bunks and briefing. I'm really worried about that operational room when it comes to defending master office and R6 room. I just don't know how you're going to hold on to a wide open room with a window and a door with nothing to take cover from it and that soft wall right next to it. I think it's a real problem with that site, and you know, it doesn't mean it's a problem with the map. It just means it's a difficult site to hold on to. Some sites are stronger than others, and when we look at the other sites, we're probably going to weigh up at the end of the second video which site I think is the best. At the moment, Bunks briefing at the minute is better than Master at R6 room, in my personal opinion. Let me know how you get on, though, in the comments below, if you played any games or ranked games, or any games, actually, on Lair yet, and whether you think those setups are the right way to do it. Although usually in Siege, there's not normally a right way and a wrong way, but there's usually a more efficient way of doing it. Let me know what you think in the comments below. I appreciate you watching, even if you've watched it for 10 seconds, 10 minutes, or you've watched it for 10 hours, which would be outrageous. But thanks very much for getting involved. It's you that make the channel the way it is. I might make the videos, but what's the point if nobody watches it? So thanks very much for getting involved, and we'll see you next time. Cheers.